Shit. Oh, shit, bro! I got the Rona, bro.
You got the Rona for sure.
I got it, dude. I done got the Rona. What's up, dudes?
We told you to stop using that bidet, man.
I got the Rona from the bidet.
Good thing we didn't decide to meet at my house.
To week 2 of the coronavirus pandemic.
Yes.
I'd like to take a minute to thank our sponsors, Alpaca Chicken.
AlpacaChicken.com.
If you want the best chicken in town. I actually ordered Alpaca Chicken today to my house, delivered within 20 minutes. It was at my door.
Nice.
They're doing delivering now, so you guys in the Raleigh-Durham area, you should check them out. I ordered them through Grubhub. They have their own thing. Check it out. Nation Homes. Right now, there's not a whole lot of renovations happening, but after this is all done,
well, there's not a lot of toilet paper.
Not a lot of toilet paper. Nation Homes will come out right now and install a bidet for not the normal price, but call them up. All right. What's the number, Elias?
919-349-8940. 24/7. Services available, so call anytime.
24/7, guys. Woo. That is service if you ever heard it. And then actually, I've been saying this wrong the whole time, but Blue Betsy Boutique. You actually have to go to the eBay store. And on eBay, search Blue Betsy Boutique, and you'll be able to see some really cool stuff on eBay. Thank you for the friends of the podcast. We have Corey Harpin, #1 listener, Evan Baxter. We have Bruce from the Big Apple, and Nacho, who actually never fucking listens to the podcast.
Well,
but we still mention him.
I think we're gonna have to. We're gonna see if Nacho's still on here.
We have to vet the sponsors, dude, and all those people. Not know this is stuff.
Sure. Was good.
This whole remote thing is crazy, bro.
That's when you weak, man. Lock up your house. Like, lock in. So you've been getting out.
Me, I haven't left my house.
Can I ask y'all something? Does the coronavirus look like pollen?
There's coronavirus everywhere. Yeah, this is the worst time. I feel like I have a sore throat on the regular basis, and I got the Rona, bro. Oh, never mind. It was just the pollen.
No, I hope not.
Fucking a horrible time.
Yeah, it's a horrible.
I feel like I get it. I feel like I get a fever on the regular basis. I feel like I got a sore throat on the regular basis. I still haven't left my house. When something gets delivered on my house, I spray with Lysol. I'm just like. I'm super paranoid right now, man. It's just a crazy time, man. I think that because we are gonna be listening to this podcast ourselves, probably in a couple of years or in who knows when, we should be as descriptive as possible.
Absolutely.
To what our day-to-days have changed. So right now it is 3/24/2020, and everyone's working from home. Everything's shut down. I've been at the house for 2 weeks. All restaurants are closed, delivery only.
Yeah.
Oh shit, Tucci got the Rona.
Oh man.
Tucci got the Rona just now. He was coughing.
Well, actually, I was just reacting. You look like a caveman, you know? You were just talking about some clippers. I mean, are you ever gonna cut that hair?
People are cutting their own hairs.
You know, that crossed my mind today, man, because even the barbershops are closed. So all those people that used to getting their haircut religiously once a week, every other week, they're not going to have a haircut. They are,
right.
And you're just not going to have a haircut, period. So there's some people who they're really, adamant about getting a haircut, and that just ain't happening.
So what do people do in this? Like, let's say you have to work from home, you get on a Skype call or like WebEx with, the big wigs, and you have like shoulder length hair going down. Like, what do people do in that situation? You just take some shears and start like cutting it off.
Well, I don't think it's gonna go that long, that quick, but they should have planned accordingly, man.
What happens is you start taking matters to yourself, and you're gonna have a bunch of people walking around when this is all over with some fucked up haircuts. That's what's gonna happen.
That's for sure.
Well, you can just go
bald,
and that's it, man.
I'm thinking about getting like a crazy haircut, like a faux hack with like pink hair and shit, because nobody sees me right now, unless you're like on some sort of video chat, right?
Yeah.
Have you guys seen that video of people working from home and not knowing how to use the video chat, and this lady went right to the bathroom and take a piss?
No way. No.
Yeah, like they had like the whole team, like 6 people were watching,
Oh my
and this
god.
lady takes her laptop and you see her walk in, and she clearly she either doesn't remember that is on, or she doesn't know that the camera's on, and she sits down, puts it on the floor, and then sits on the toilet. You see her take her pants off, and then everybody in the meeting is like, "What the fuck?" They open their eyes like, "Oh my god!" And nobody knows how to tell her. Like nobody was like, "Yo, hey, ho!" They're like, "Chill, you're taking a piss." Like they're all like,
Wait, did they continue looking, or did they like
were,
turn
like,
away?
One
Like,
lady talking, like, there was like the main lady like going over like, so we're gonna do the reporting, and like
that
and
is
then
so funny.
and, like, obviously that lady didn't have like the camera's screen open, so she wasn't looking. But like all the other 6 people in the meeting were looking at this, and they all noticed it, and they were all like, "Oh!" And then the lady that's talking is like, "What happened? What happened?
Right.
What's going on? What's going on?" And then the one guy is like, "I didn't see anything. I didn't see anything." It's
That is-
fucking hilarious, dude.
That is funny.
she's immediately fired.
I wonder, would you get fired for that?
For what?
It's obviously an accident.
I don't think you get. No way, dude. I don't think you get fired for that.
You might.
I mean, if you don't really know, I mean, the lady didn't know.
How do you face your coworkers after that when they
if you're not fired, I'd want to quit because
seriously,
man.
I don't know, man. If my dick came out, I want to see the recording. If my dick came out looking good and shit, then I'll be all right. Like if I was having a good dick day, then I'd be good.
But if it didn't,
if I didn't, I was like, no, I'm
you're
out.
done.
I'm out. Like, I'm fired. Please fire me immediately. But what else is? But you guys are going out some, right? Every time I call you, MB, you're out and about.
Man, I'm trying to. No, but I mean, we're out, but we're not. Like the other day, we went to we need to go grocery shopping. So Laura went to Costco. We all went in the car to get out the house. I took the boys on a trail on the bikes, and then Laura went to Costco, and then she picked us up when she was done.
But that's the thing. You're not supposed to be around people, but like it's just not hidden yet.
I don't know if you're not. I mean, I think I'm doing the right thing. Maybe I'm doing the wrong thing, but I'm not around people. I'm not talking to people. I'm not within 6 feet of people. Yes, I am if they pass me or I pass them, but it's not like I'm hanging out next to them, catching up and talking.
Man, I was thinking about like sometimes we don't even think how many things we actually touch. So let's say, okay, you went out on your car, you went to the gas station, right? And you touched the handle to put gas on your car, right? And then with that same handle you touch, you press the numbers to put your PIN or your zip code to pay. I don't know, whoever touched that before you did, you went to your car, you touched the door handle of your car, you got inside your car, and I don't know if you got some, what is that, alcohol, you rub your hands, you wash them.
Purell.
But the doorknobs on your car or the keys, they probably still have some germs or virus inside there. And sometimes we don't even know how many things we touch even before we actually get to wash our hands, And that virus, it stays alive, I think, or it stays for 72 hours in any surface, I think. So that's a long time. Yeah. So if you go to the bank, you stand on you touch the counter, whoever went there before, you touch that, and then you touch your hand, or you touch your mouth, and that has people getting infected. So sometimes we don't even realize how many things we touch. We have to, like, if you go out, eventually you're gonna have to put gas. Before you put gas, like how many people have put gas on their car already before you did? And it's not like someone is washing those handles before you touching them,
Yeah, and you touch the card at Costco, and you touch the credit card, and you pass the person, and you touch the bag, and like that's what they're suggesting, that you stay home. But I don't think until it gets mandatory, people aren't really going to follow it, because it's like you hear like misinformation, like, if you wash your hands, then you can't catch it or some shit like that. And it's airborne. You can also get it through. The reality is people don't know exactly how it works, but it's way more contagious than any other flu out there. It's like 10 times more contagious than the flu. And it's not a matter whether we're going to get it or not, is how quickly. We just don't want to get it all at once.
Yeah, I mean, look what's going on in New York right now, right? There's 1 in 1,000 people in New York City
that has
have the coronavirus. Yeah, so
1 every 1,000.
And that's with like the entire city shut down, basically.
You said 1 every 1,000?
Yeah, one in every 1,000 people. Yep.
Okay.
And that's just with like the tests that they have run through. You know, Anthony Fauci was on the news today saying, well, there's like a huge backlog of tests that they haven't even tested yet. So we'll see how it turns out. But yeah, this is a highly contagious disease.
So some people develop way worse symptoms than others. So some people don't develop symptoms at all, and you're contagious for 14 days before you show any symptoms. So that's why they're like, stay home, because like you could have already had it, and then all you did by going to Costco is give it to like 10 more people. And maybe you didn't show any symptoms, but those 10 people are going to get it.
Somebody's going to show
and
some
one
symptoms.
of them might die. Which is, it's crazy. I mean, it's really hard to stay home. Like I was taking it lightly and until it like kind of hit me. And then now I'm like trying not to leave my house at all. Like when I went to pick up groceries, I made sure to do the in-store pickup and had them put them in my trunk. And then I sprayed it with Lysol and stuff like that. And even then, like it's just me going out. In other countries, in Colombia, they only have 5,000 cases. My parents are from Colombia and they're living there right now. And they only have 5,000 cases in the whole country. And there's a mandatory quarantine. Like
how many cases?
5,000.
5,000 in Colombia.
And they're saying you can't leave your house, like it's mandatory. Like there's no cars. If you see you outside, they give you a ticket.
Same thing in Argentina, man. I don't know why they're taking so long over here to do that, man.
Because the fucking president, just today, he put a tweeter out saying the solution can be worse than the problem. The Americans want to go out and work, and yeah, that's true and all, but like you're ignoring the health of people because you want the economy to be better so you can get reelected. That's my opinion, obviously, but I feel like it's not taken seriously here because of that. Because there's more of a want of like we want the money more than we're worried about a few people dying. I don't know. Did you guys see that?
Isn't it like okay? No, the only thing that is doing it, everybody's gonna get sick eventually. They said everybody's gonna get it anyways. Like they just want to do. They just want to do it like everyone at one time. That's the thing.
So, no, we don't want to do it everyone at once.
Exactly. So that's why everybody's staying at their house.
Right. Yeah. The best way to deal with this is so that it's not all together.
Yeah, if you do it all at one time, then that's going to overwhelm the
hospitals,
healthcare system. So, and then like that's going to be a disaster because that's going to cause more people to die. So,
there's people losing their fucking mind and panicking, and there's people taking this way too lightly. I think the answer is somewhere in between. It is serious. You should stay home so you don't give it to anybody and you don't get it. But I mean, you shouldn't be buying out all the fucking toilet paper. But it's weird, man. Like, even Joe Rogan was like, he had one of the best epidemiologists on his podcast, basically telling that very thing. Like, hey, don't go outside, social distancing, this shit. And then on the very next podcast, he had like a Navy SEAL, and he was like, just casually talking with the Navy SEAL, saying, "Oh, what's the big deal, man? Like, I think the people are overreacting. Like, what the fuck? Like, what is going on right now? Like, I don't understand. Like, which one is it? But I just rather be safe and just not leave the house at this point."
Well, no, I think it's like what we're doing right now with social distancing. That's very important, just because of how contagious it is. Because, like, for instance, Durham just issued a stay-at-home order. I think tomorrow they're gonna send it out
for everybody to stay home.
Yeah. But like, if we didn't already have this stuff in place, like, because if you think about it, we started last week, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if we didn't already have this stuff in place, we would be just like Italy, where they had, yeah.
So like, there's like worse.
It's like a 7% death rate in Italy right now.
When they used to say it was 2% just for elderly.
Yeah. And the reason it's so bad in Italy is because the hospitals got completely overwhelmed. and they had to shut down the whole country. So,
dude, all right. So sorry to cut you off, Tucci, but
yeah.
Martin was saying that be as detailed as possible because we're gonna listen to this in a couple of years from now. This I think the 21st of March, Italy had almost 800 deaths in one day.
Yeah.
I mean, it's been coming down. Like the good news, the glimpse of hope for Italy was, I think yesterday for like the second day they had no increase amount of deaths in one day, and it was like 600. So they didn't have more than 600 deaths in one day, and that was something that that was a shining light of optimism. So that's how bad it is right now.
Yeah, and Trump is saying that he wants to open back up the country
in a couple weeks.
By Easter time.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, if you do that, we've done all this for no reason,
I honestly feel like that guy. It just in an effort to be in detail, and I want to hear this 5 years from now and know if I was right. That dude is gonna come out to be the biggest scam artist that is ever in the history of the United States. He's obviously just worried about fucking getting reelected and money, dude. He is ignoring everything out there just to say, hey, you should, this is enough, guys. Like we can take care of the elderly and still go out and do our jobs because he's afraid of not getting reelected, bro.
Well, the thing is like, I don't think so he's afraid to getting reelected. The thing is like, okay, right now you got somebody to blame if the economy is going bad. Like, okay, he's going to blame somebody who's like, whoa, this was a major disaster. Like, that's something like out of his hand. It's not like it happened because of him. It's not because nobody can blame Donald Trump just for the things that are happening right now. Like economically, like it would happen to any president. So whenever he probably is still going to get reelected anyways.
Yeah, but a lot of people and that's fine. But a lot of people are losing a lot of money in this process, and a lot of people are making a lot of money.
But it's not something they're making or losing money. But it's not. It's very hard to blame him right now. Like whoever is losing money right now, it's very hard to blame the president.
But that's what you think. That's your opinion, right? But he's afraid that some people's opinions are going to be different. And like he's afraid that he will be judged and he will be held accountable for that. That's what I think. Like why else would he put a tweet out saying, "Hey guys, stop, this is enough. Congress needs to pass something so that people can go back to work." When every single doctor right now will tell you need to stay fucking home for at least 2 weeks.
Well, sometimes maybe he wants to talk to people, give them some hope that this is going to be over soon. That's it, maybe.
You know what? On that note, like he doesn't give any hope of like everything's going to be all right. You guys we just need to huddle down and just wait this out a little bit. We're going to get this back up before you know it. What we need to do what the doctors recommend, and everything will be okay. That's not what he's saying. He's actually saying he's kind of contradicting what the doctors are recommending. And the crazy part is I don't really listen to him a lot, but I was listening to him yesterday, and you can tell he's reading his script, and then his head comes up from the script, and he says, this is because he'll mention something about like because we have the best economy, and
right,
the greatest nation in the country, and no one's seen an economy like this, like we've been having. And then he'll go back to what he was saying about the coronavirus. And then he'll come back again and he'll mention, what we've done here the last couple of years, this economy, this is the best. We have to get it back up because this is the best economy. And it's like, dude, nobody is denying that. But we're not even talking about that right now. Like,
right, he's insecure about it.
He's super insecure. He's like, nobody said it wasn't the best nation on earth. Nobody said it wasn't the best economy. But he like continues to bring it up like it's some new information, and then I'm listening. I'm just watching this guy. I'm like, man, this dude is like kind of crazy. Like I kind of feel bad for him. But he's so like arrogant. So every reporter that would ask him a question, he doesn't even let him finish the question. When he already cuts in and starts talking, just answering the question. But it wasn't even the full question because they didn't even get the chance to finish. Right. Asking the question in the first place.
I think we have a leader that is more worried about making money and getting reelected than actually worrying about this. He constantly ignores scientists and advisors and shit like that, and he's doing that again. He does it for a little bit when it's obvious, right? So he came out and said, hey, you guys shouldn't be worried about this. It's just a simple flu. He literally said that in a fucking... I saw it. And he said, don't worry about it. This is not a big deal. Just wash your hands. You'll be fine.
He'd be over in the summer.
Yeah, it blew up. And then, he had, like, all the CEOs from McDonald's, Walmart. I'm not really sure what that was about. He had all those people. And now he's going back to, like, hey, this is not a big deal. And he's ignoring what the doctors are saying. I think I told you would know this. Is he like, didn't he have an advisor, some sort of doctor that he like fired or something like that?
Well, so Anthony Fauci, who works for the Centers for Disease Control, he's the preeminent infectious disease expert in the country. He's worked in that role since 1984, so for 6 presidents.
Wow.
He's 80 years old. This dude is a legend.
Oh yeah.
And so he goes out on the news and like he doesn't give a fuck about what Trump says. Okay,
he's 80 years old.
He doesn't give a flying fuck. And so like you'll see him in these press conferences, and Trump's at the little podium there, and he's like sitting in the background with his arms crossed, looking down. At one point, Trump had said that he was referring to the State Department, and he called it the Deep State Department. And Anthony Fauci put his arm up, or put his hand up to his face because he was laughing.
Yeah.
So like he doesn't give a flying fuck about Trump. And actually, he gave a interview for this scientific journal. And the interviewer asked him like, "All right, Anthony, like be real with us. Like, how can you stand being there when he's saying all these lies?" And Anthony Fauci was like, well, what do you want me to do? I can't jump in front of him and push him off the podium.
I can't jump in front of the mic.
But so yeah, he's not fired yet.
I think he is well respected. He is very well respected, and he's on like every show, man, on every freaking channel, news channel. And I think I don't think the president could. I mean, he could. I guess he could fire him.
Is he ignoring him like openly, or he's going against him?
There's like he has some kind of, I don't know what it is. It's like I don't know what it is between them, but obviously the president needs him, and I mean people respect him, people listen to him. I mean, but like Tucci said, he did that interview recently, and he basically said, look, I mean, I can't control what the guy says. Is basically what he said.
Yeah, and you could tell Trump is like getting annoyed by him, just like he does with a lot of other people. But he can't fire him right now because like the dude's really respected.
Right.
So Trump would not do anything to hurt his own reelection chances, but he will fire him whenever there's an opportunity to do so. And I think that's going to happen whenever like the coronavirus goes away. So
right, just get him out of there.
That guy couldn't care less, I bet, if he's 80 years old. Dude, at 80 years old, I'm not going to give a fuck about anything.
Bro, he got a lot of energy.
I don't think so. Huh?
He got a lot of energy to be out there and being like, I mean, these people work. I can't even imagine like the hours these people put in. Like from
when I'm 80, I hope I'm not working anymore.
Bro, and this guy ain't working 9 to 5. I mean, he's up early. You see him in the news at 8 o'clock in the morning, and he's at meetings all day. And you see him like at 10 o'clock on another news channel.
You know what I just thought, man? When you see an old man, well, for the most part, right? One thing you can assume, if you're like 80 years old and you're wealthy and you're still working, it's because you give a shit about that, right?
Oh yeah.
Like think about it. Like at that point, like you really feel passionate about whatever you're doing because it's not a matter of making money, not a matter of like you have to be there. No, it's just like at that point you're just passionate about what you're doing. So like all this criticism that like Bernie Sanders gets,
oh god,
he doesn't need that shit, dude.
No.
I love Bernie. Bernie 2020. I'm gonna listen to this 10 years from now and just be like, yo, Bernie turned out to be the next Hitler. No, I'm kidding. But nah, dude. I mean, it's crazy right now. It's just getting crazier. We're gonna be doing this podcast once a week, maybe 2 times a week, to try to like document what's happening. Right. What else has happened that's weird, guys? Elias, you have a construction company, right?
Yeah, no, right now everything's kind of stopped right now. But I was watching a video. I'm probably gonna send it to you guys. When the guy you guys talking about, he covered his face up. I was looking it up. Yeah. I just found it. But about what you were saying before, like, oh, this guy is 80 years old. I think once you get to that age, the only thing that's going to kind of keep you alive and keep you moving is like keeping you alive is like moving yourself, like, staying awake, reading, finding more information, what's new out there. So I think like sometimes you say, shit, if I'm 80, I don't want to be out there. But I think when you're 80, like you want to get more shit done. You're like, shit, my life is about to end. I want to get some things done, or I want to achieve, I want to add something, So I think the older you get, it's like the more you realize the most how valuable life is. You're like, shit, I wasted so much time on this shit. I should have done something different. And I think that is when, because you see a lot of, like Trump right now. How old is Trump? Like 80, like 275. So imagine that guy was just a businessman like for all his life. So he was like, what's the best thing I can do? I can be the president if I want to be the president. So that was something that he wanted to accomplish, even though he was super old. So I think the older you get is the more things you want to get done in life. Just because you realize how, you start getting all these information, or you have all this knowledge, or you have all these experiences that you're like, shit, I wish I could do this when I was younger, So even though you're old, you're still getting things done. Even though you're old, you are like, okay, I can keep moving forward. And you're way smarter than somebody that's 30 years old or 20 years old. Like you have way much experience. And I think that's what kind of keep them alive. Sometimes you see 80 years old people, like this guy working hard, and you see them so awake. And then you see like, I don't know, like another old guy. And he's like, yeah, like I would prefer to be this guy that's 80 years old, they getting shit done and being super smart about life, than just being someone that doesn't do anything.
Well, how like every 10 years, like if you think about it, if you're 35 right now, you're thinking very differently when you're 25, and when you're 25, you're thinking very different than when you were 15, and obviously when you're 15, you're thinking very different when you're 5. So it's like just 10 years, and that I'm talking about from 35 down. Imagine you got 45, 55, 65, 75. This guy's about to be 80 years old.
Yo, you know what the biggest irony is? When your brain is, when you have the most experience and when you are the smartest, probably, that's when your body is like, fuck it, I'm not dealing with this anymore. And they have now come up with, there's people working on regenerating the cells and shit, and you stay young longer. And apparently this is not that far away. Like with steroids, stem cells, like a combination of all this stuff, you can like start messing with the body, and you could potentially live to be like a few hundred years.
Well, is that a few hundred?
Yeah.
Is that like cosmetic though, or can they like?
No, dude. Like this, I forget the name of the science, but this guy was talking about. I wish I could tell you it was on the Joe Rogan podcast, but listen to it if you want to. But like the guy is like the lead scientist on this, and they're working on like. And the guy was like kind of cuckoo, but he was like, "Dude, we're close. Like we're like within this lifetime where we could just be like, here's a couple of things you can do to like extend your lifespan for like X amount of years."
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like what they're doing with stem cells and the umbilical cord and shit like that, like regenerating. Like you can have like a completely tear muscle on your shoulder or your leg or your knee, and they inject you with this shit, and like it regenerates with stem cells. And then they're doing that and other shit. And like, dude, like, what is it from like in 50, 100 years from now? They're gonna figure that shit out as long as society doesn't fall.
Dude, how are they gonna keep up with so many people, and so many people having more people, and the whole like issue with food, and just like the food not being being genetically modified and just not being real, or just not. I mean, there's only so much that the earth can provide, nutrient friendly food for X amount of people. And then
my guess is they're gonna figure out a way to either a civilization is as we know it is gonna end from like some sort of catastrophe like this.
Mm-hmm.
Like some virus is gonna come in and fucking kill us all. But if we keep on going, like we are gonna have to expand to other planets. That's gonna have to happen. That is a must. Like that's what Elon Musk believes in. Like
so basically,
the only way for humanity to stay is if we figure out a way to expand to other planets. That's the only way.
Diversify.
Yeah, I mean,
increase your odds of survival, basically.
Dude, can you imagine like back in the day? Okay, so you live in Europe, and like back in the day, I don't know the years, but and then they discover a whole new piece of land. How fucking cool is that? Like, oh damn, there's America. We can go over there. It's all untouched, brand new. Let's go check it out. The closest thing we could get to that right now, how cool it is like if somehow in our lifetimes they would be like, yo, we got this new place, this new Earth that you could go to, and you can travel there, and it's all brand new, like all new shit. Like animals are just running crazy. Like you gotta go. It's dangerous.
The crazy part is it's not like the crazy part is not like this place that's like I think they're trying to make it human friendly. Right. That's the difference. It's not like you're in Europe. Like, look, there's this place that's beautiful and that, this is like.
No, but there are other planets that are like Goldilocks. Is that how you say it? Goldilocks planets that are just like us?
The Goldilocks.
Right.
They're just unreachable. We know where they are, right? Don't you know about this shit?
Well, yeah, so it's like.
They have them, but they just can't get to them.
So, yeah, I mean, the trick is like getting there, right? Because the nearest star is light years away, and we don't have any capacity to get to even that star, even the nearest star, whether there's habitable planets there or not. So like, I think our best bet at this point is to find some way to habitate Mars, or like terraform it. You know what that is? Terraform. It's basically where they transform the planet into like a breathable atmosphere. Like have like water on it, possible crops, stuff like that.
Bro, how do you like get I mean, you transfer water over there? Like, how does it even?
You can make water.
You can make water there.
Yeah, I mean, because if you think about it, it's just hydrogen and oxygen, so you can transport, that the basic elements or refine them there, and then through electrolysis create water.
Mm-hmm.
It's not very efficient, but who knows in what 20 years like we'll be able to do, right?
Well, think about it, man. When these people were living in Europe, the idea of traveling by air was a ridiculous concept, right? Like a plane, right?
Flying.
And somehow it figures it out. Somebody figured it out. And so I feel like, I mean, if you think about it, something could happen, right? Like maybe the conventional way of moving across by speed and like that's not going to be it, but maybe somebody will fucking run across like space-time continuous and teleporting and shit like that, and we'll be able to do it. I mean, that's the only thing. How cool would that be if they're like, yo, I could get you to this planet. Would you go colonize it if that was you? Like, would you go out there?
Yeah. Absolutely.
How long would it take to get there?
Well, let's say they figure out a way. They're like, okay, I could get you there in 2 days. But like, I'm talking about like what'd be weird is like, okay, so no infrastructure. Whatever animals are there could kill you. Whatever's living there could kill you. You don't have a police or government or anything to back you up. You're just going out there and just like
the Wild Wild West. The Wild Wild West.
Sure, like,
Christopher Columbus.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, dude, how crazy is that, dude?
That's wild. That's
like that idea would be sweet though.
They gotta give me a good gun or an atomic bomb or something, just in case something goes wrong.
Atomic bomb.
I can go there with something like very strong. Like when Christopher Columbus he came to America, what he had, he got guns. Over here they only have like arrows and things like that. So
right.
He was able to control the whole area. So before I even go there, can we send a couple of drones there and so I can see the area, what's going on? I'm pretty sure you're not just gonna jump there without even know what's there.
I don't know.
Have you seen the movie Pitch Black?
Oh yeah,
no.
Pitch Black. Vin Diesel. Yeah, you saw it. Like they traveled from one planet to another planet. They were taking They really didn't know what to expect on that planet.
Yeah, Vin Diesel was blind in this movie, and there's like giant bat creatures that come out and like try to kill him. So
This is like
yeah, it's a classic. Y'all should watch it.
You heard it? It's a classic.
Pitch
It's
Black.
a blind guy and those bad people. It seems like
And
two
they're
on
in
the
a different planet. They're in a different planet, so it's kind of cool.
So were the bad people also blind?
Actually, I think they were. Yeah, but I don't know.
All right,
No,
what
watch the only.
Watch
Watch the movie.
All right, what about Total Recall?
Oh man, you watch shitty movies like that?
Isn't that the one with Arnold Schwarzenegger when he's on this other planet?
You know, I actually haven't seen it, so I can't, can't really advise you.
Wait, which one's Total Recall, dude?
It's before your time, bro. They're
No,
living.
it sounds familiar. I probably watched that shit in Spanish.
You probably did.
In the 90s, I watched in Colombia, but it was like dubbed up in Spanish.
Hold on.
Is that the one where like Sylvester Stallone had to wipe his ass with this shells, and then people have been mocking that shit online because of right now? Oh yeah. For the purpose of documentation, currently in 2020, and they have bought all the toilet paper for whatever reason.
Right.
Even the dollar store toilet paper, if y'all are wondering.
Yeah, and I'm as a visionary as I am, I figured out that I bought a bidet before this all happened, and my ass is protected by this bidet, and you guys are struggling. Hey, what are you guys wiping your ass with right now?
I got makeup remover.
How much? Hey, did
I got rubbing alcohol.
God damn!
No, look, check it out. Look. The plot of this movie was in 2084, construction worker Douglas Quaid is having troubling dreams about Mars and a mysterious woman there. His wife, blah blah. Okay, so he ends up being in Mars, and it's just like this crazy trip. Arnold Schwarzenegger is in Mars, and I remember they just had it was just a crazy ass movie. So Total Recall it came out in 1990. American science fiction action film. Yep. So again,
I remember this because you know what I remember. I remember being a kid and seeing a lady with 3 tits.
3 titties. Yeah, the girl with 3 tits from Mars.
Yeah. And I remember being confused. Like, do I like this? Do I not?
Yeah. That was Total Recall. So you saw that in Spanish. You haven't even seen it in English.
Nah, and I don't remember the thing. I remember it was like a taboo movie and it was scaring me a little bit. But I was like, oh man, 3 titties. Let's watch this again. Whatever happened with movies being like this is it all became realistic. It used to be totally okay for Arnold Schwarzenegger to be a complete fight 17 people with one gun.
Oh yeah,
and win. And then there was Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Jean-Claude Van Damme would fight everybody. Jackie Chan would fight everybody, and then they'll be fine. But nowadays, it has to be so realistic. You can't have one.
Have you seen Bad Boys 3?
No.
That's like a throwback, though, right?
Bad Boys 3 is they kill it. It was good, but it's the same thing. One guy kills a bunch of guys.
Speaking of classics,
they're going back to that, huh?
Yeah, I think.
What were you saying, dude? Speaking of what?
I just said speaking of classics.
Oh, Bad Boys?
Bad Boys 3, yeah.
I haven't seen it, dude. I haven't been able. Ever since I had a child, I've not been to the movies.
Dude, I was speaking of child. I was telling Tucci and Elias how Mason was FaceTiming one of his friends from school, Laura's friends with his mom. So, dude, they were talking for a while, and they were just playing their games. Oh, Archer, look at this, and then
on the FaceTime.
On FaceTime, but the kid, it's so distorted. They're looking at the ceiling; they're not even looking at each other like that. And once in a while, they'll pop in there, But man, they were having a good old time for at least 30 minutes, man, for 2 4-year-olds.
That's hilarious.
They were just he's like, "All right, you gonna eat lunch? Is your mommy making lunch? Okay, I'm gonna make lunch, and then I'll call you, and then I'll look at the phone, and I can talk to you when I look at the phone." I was like, "Oh my gosh, dude!" But look, it worked, man. And Mason is he wants to be around you. He doesn't want to be by himself. He doesn't want to be playing by himself. dude, he was in the other room with the phone talking to his buddy for like a good 30 minutes, playing there. Sometimes they weren't even talking to each other. They were just there, like you could hear the Legos getting put together, and they were just kind of like, I don't know, it's like they were just there.
What? Let me ask you something. Why do you like that, but you hate the idea of video games for your child? Because that's exactly what it is. You connect to a headphone and you're playing with somebody else somewhere else, and you're there, like, and you would be there for hours and like sharing.
Well, I don't hate the idea of video games. Do I play video games? No, I don't play video games. I'm not stimulated by video games. And when I say video games, like when I grew up playing video games, people were playing FIFA. We were playing, whatever other games. I'd rather go play soccer outside. Yeah, Super Mario. I'd rather go play outside soccer instead of playing FIFA inside. Right?
No, I get it. Like, but it's almost like you're like saying one for the other, right? Like, if it's almost like you're equating the idea that if he were to play video games, he's not going to go outside and play with things.
I know. You're
saying how much you enjoy the fact that he's in another room.
No, I didn't enjoy that.
Engaging with his kid.
I didn't enjoy that. I said it was a trip. How he was. This is the first time he was like, and the only reason this happened is because they're not in school. But I'm not saying like, oh, this is something I really enjoyed. I'm so proud of him. No, it was just like,
why?
Why not? It was surreal that he was just. They were just being able to just connect on the phone, like through FaceTime, which going back because of everything that's going on right now, right? So right now all the schools are closed. So right now Mason and Jaden have this. They're doing like a virtual class. So they only, they're 2 and 4 years old. So they're gonna do like half an hour in the morning around 11, then like a half an hour like 2:00 in the afternoon. And the first time they did it, dude, like we did like screen mirroring. So we put on the Apple TV so Mason could see his other classmates on the TV in the living room. And I was just looking at him, right? Because he's like trying to figure out what's happening. Why are all these like kids on the TV? And then I can see my teacher on the TV. And everybody's trying to connect. And you see everybody in their house with like their parents or their mother or their dad. And half of them are in PJs or the other one just writing T-shirts. And dude, I don't know why, but I just felt like kind of like sad. I was like, damn, this is kind of sad. Like it's good. It's good. And it's really awesome. And it's like, wow, it's great that they can actually see each other and they can actually be in one area and everybody on one platform. But it just felt like kind of sad that they were all separated in their own areas. And this was like the 30 minutes that they're going to be able to connect when they're normally in school from like 8:30 to 4:30.
See, the reason I say that is because so what is it about the interaction that's weird, right? Is it because it's electronic? Is it because it's in front of a screen? Is it because there's no actual movement or activity? Because it's going to get that way. Because if you start thinking about, you've seen that movie, Ready Player Now, with the headsets and shit. No. I think it's going to eventually get that. You put a virtual reality goggles on. And now the idea is that the technology gets advanced enough that it feels like real life, but it's all through a computer, right? So you can put these goggles on. You're on a treadmill, so you're actually moving, but you're actually in this game. But like if you run or walk, you feel like you could be anywhere now. Like now the possibilities are endless. Right? You could be in. You could be with your friends.
Well, the good thing is, like, I think they want to do it like so you can be like on an NBA. They playing basketball. You can be right there in the middle of the game. Just you look around, you see the coach. You look on the other side, you see the players. So you kind of like you feel kind of you're in there.
Yeah, you're not limited by travel. You're not limited by space. You're just now, or like you can let your imagination drive. But it is right now is just like the beginnings of it when like you're in front of a screen and you have to look at the screen. But eventually it's going to evolve to that. And there are some aspects of video games that are bad, right? Like there are people that don't do anything else.
Yeah, I mean, I know people who are addicted to video gaming, man, and they are not healthy, dude. In many, many aspects, they are not healthy. And I know some of them that are younger, and I know some that are older. And I'm thinking like,
talking about me?
No, dude. I'm talking about they got. That's what they. That's what stimulates and that's what gets them going. I'm not saying don't play video games, man. And video games today are very different than video games what I grew up on.
Yeah, I think there's a more of a social aspect of it now because you can be online and have like a group of friends and yeah, the only thing is that your movement is limited to your hands, right? But if I can see this eventually like evolve into like, what's the difference of you going to a T-ball game live?
Bro, what, are you kidding me? Like, what is the difference of going to go go play?
Hear me out.
Yeah.
Hear me out. Like, you're talking about like you feel the sun, you smell the grass, you touch the person, you feel the sweat. Like it could potentially get to that level.
Right, but why do you have to like make that when you already have it? Why would you have to put so much energy and effort to make that when you already have it here? Like,
because the coronavirus outside.
No, so think about what. Okay, so think about it right now, right? So I'm working from home, and I'm doing everything I normally do at the office, right? So similar concept, not necessarily the same, but I can have all the interactions that I had at the office. I can have them virtually. So now I'm not driving a car 30 to 45 minutes. I'm here, and I'm basically saving all that gas, not hurting the environment, moving quickly.
But that has nothing to do with the video game.
Well, the same idea, right? So, like, if you can have the same exact experience of a T-ball game, and just, again, imagine that it's just as good, right? Like, you can't even tell the difference. Okay. Right? Like, you can't tell the difference. But now you don't have to drive, and you can do it at any time.
But
and you can not only do it with the people in your area, but, like, people all around the world.
Like, so there's, like, if you guys played a sport that you really like, you can't make up for certain feelings when you're up at bat and you are freaking nervous. And
but you have to imagine that for the user, it feels exactly the same. That's where I feel like eventually, like, you cannot tell the difference between reality and a video game.
So I think a good like example to bring in here would be like texting. You know, I think it's not just video games. It's like the whole technology that we're pushing on our children, you know, and that they're just absorbing in everyday life. It's really taking away from their social skills, and you see that. I mean, you see it in the environment everywhere you go. Schools, you know, if you have nieces, nephews, children, like they don't talk to each other the way that we remember talking to each other as kids, you know.
And why is it that, like, I don't know if you guys heard this, that like these people in Silicon Valley, like these CEOs, these people that have like CEOs of company, the nannies that walk in and babysit their kids, they're not allowed to bring their phone inside. They don't want to have any device around their child. How can that be? Why would that? Why would they not want their child to have any devices around them? Because they know how dangerous they are. All right. So going back to what Tucci said about texting, dude. When I don't know if you guys remember, but when I was younger and I liked a girl, well, guess what? You had to ask her for her phone number. You didn't just go look her up and message her or DM her, right, on Facebook or on whatever. Or even before that, like, you have to call her house. You got to get her phone number. You got to get the courage to ask for her phone number. Figure out how that you're going to make that. Once you get that, okay, that's the first step. Then you got to call her. And when you call her, you got to call her house phone.
And her parents are going to pick up.
And see who's going to pick up. Either her big brother's going to pick up or her dad's going to pick up. Her mom, easy. That's easy. Her dad or her brother picks up, and then, oh, good evening, buenas noches. Oh, may I speak to, so-and-so.
In this scenario, they speak Spanish as well.
You know, and then, exactly. They might do a Spanglish thing, you know. So, and then you got to talk to this girl, and it's like, you might have some awkward moments of silence where you have to, like, kind of lead that conversation. Dude, you're nervous. You can't. Texting is so much easier. You emoji somebody, and that's it. Like, it is not the same. Now, is there great? I'm not against technology. Like, don't get me wrong. I'm not against technology by any means. Just like you said, having those meetings, you don't have to go meet somebody. You can Skype somebody. You can get a WebEx meeting online. Perfect. So
we just need to find a happy medium.
Exactly. Now, if you told me, like, I could play a video game, like, I like playing those. What is it? The the VRs when you put them on and you're like you're at a I guess like warfare, like you're fighting somebody, a fighting game, and you're wearing these things. Like, yeah, that's badass. I like those.
That's exactly what I was talking about.
Right, but I'm talking about like.
But no, but I want you to think of that version of the VR that you're seeing right now is the cassette player
for sure
of what it's going to become. I think it's going to become so advanced that you're going to have a hard time telling between reality and this VRs, and it's going to make more sense to do things that way. Not in a negative way, but now like you're not limited by certain things.
I get it. And again, if you told me that I could play a game and I can legit play basketball and I can feel like Elias said, like I am at the Staples Center and I'm playing for the Lakers and you're on the team and Elias on the team, Tucci, we're all playing basketball together, like that would be badass. Hell yeah, of course, no doubt about it. But my thing is, I've seen people like very addicted to gaming. And it is not healthy. It's not normal. And guess what, man? I feel bad for them because if they don't get out of that routine like real quick, they're going to have some problems growing up. They are really going to have some challenges growing up with self-esteem, with health, with just communicating, just socially,
with jobs.
With jobs, dude. Like, how are you gonna look? You're putting up with all. I don't know, man. And then on top of that, you bring kids in the picture. Now, these certain people are used to playing X amount of game. I game at least 3-4 hours every night. Now they can't do that because they have a responsibility. They got a child. They got a wife. They got 2 kids. Dude, like that shit is just, I don't know. It's you know how it is right now with your daughter, and you have one daughter right now, and she's very young. But I don't know. I just seen some people that are addicted to fucking gaming, and I'm like, damn.
Well, let me ask you this. I think that is changing, and here's why I think it's changing. Because in the past, there was no future, or there was nothing positive that came from being obsessed with gaming, right? If you have a child that's 10 years old, 11 years old, and is obsessed with basketball, right? Like, let's say that every single second of the day that he or she is excited about something, they want to play basketball. They talk about basketball. They want basketball. That's seen as a positive thing, right? And the reason is because there are scholarships related to basketball. There's a lot of opportunity that goes along with being a basketball player. In our generation, there was not such thing with gaming. Right? Gaming was just something that was unhealthy. And yeah, there's the lack of movement and stuff. And I still think that that's gonna change because I feel like as we go into a VR thing, it's going to change. There will be movement involved, and there will be a health aspect of things. And even some of the professional players right now are very healthy people because there is a benefit from being healthy and being a better gamer, right? But if you were a gamer back in our days, you were just wasting your time. It was a complete waste of time. You were not developing a craft. Now it's changing. There is a career in gaming. There is a professional. There's a market for being a gamer, a streamer. The high schools in New York are actually are creating classrooms and extracurricular activities that just like basketball and just like soccer and just like they do for the football, they're buying gaming computers for people that are into that kind of thing. So I think it's changing a little bit in that aspect.
I get there's opportunities. I get there's financial opportunities. I get there's
but there was. I think that's a lot of where you're coming from, that negative view of, because I feel like I used to do it the same, and I feel like a lot of people in our generation see gaming as a huge waste of time and being connected to the, because it was right. Like there was really not a professional. There was no that you weren't going to get a scholarship. You were not being social.
So let's say forget about the financial aspect. Somebody's obsessed with basketball and they're 10 years old. And they've been playing for years. And somebody is just obsessed with gaming. All right, so the person who's playing sports is a team player, knows what it feels like to win and to lose, is active, is healthy. I'm assuming they can follow a schedule. They have they have practice, they have games. There's a certain respect for authority for their coach and respect for the team players. So I think there's a lot of benefit to sports. Now I don't know what other benefit. I mean,
other than the health aspect of it, that unless you take it upon yourself to do it, everything else you mentioned is part of gaming right now.
So you have
to coordinate with the team. You have to practice. You have to. I mean, if you're taking it seriously, especially in some of the games. Oh, dude, you think I'm kidding?
Oh, God.
Hey, Tucci, didn't you run a clan at one point?
Well, it was a guild, but
it's a guild. I'm sorry.
No, I mean, look, there is aspects of that in gaming, but at the same time, you don't feel the same level of. I get where Rambeer is coming from 100%, because you don't feel the same level of commitment, and a lot of times in gaming that you do in the real life, right? Because at the end of the day, you can just turn your computer off or your Xbox or whatever.
At the end of the day, you're going to leave the basketball team and you can't come back to practice if you don't want to.
Well, it's hard to do that, right? Because you're going to see those people every day, right? So typically it's done at school. Typically it's done within your church group or whatever. So like you have that social network already set up. It's already ingrained, and you're going to be with these people for a long time. So you need to make it work.
Right.
So whereas with gaming, it's like you can just jump from one game to the other, or from one guild to the other, or one clan, like you said, to another, or whatever, and there's a sense of permanency there.
And here's one more thing. Like your confidence and your self-esteem, I'm sure it builds up in gaming, but I mean, like in sports, and somebody's watching you, and like you just like did like a badass play, or you scored whatever. I know you're scoring in games. Like people are watching. I know people are watching in games. Like it's you're not
saying to yourself is the same thing.
You're not, but hold on a second. You're not behind in a desk. You are like all eyes on you when you're playing, and you feel like a certain level of pressure. I don't know if you get the same amount of pressure playing video games. One of you guys can speak on that. I don't know if it comes.
Dude, I feel like a lot of things you're describing are the same, and I think that the one piece that is missing is the active part of it, and I think that's going to get there. And I want you to picture something, right? Picture you're playing just basketball, just as badass as it is in real life, but now you're not limited to playing just the people in your town, in your church group, in your thing, but you're actually at a young age have the ability to play people all over the world. And you're really placed, and you're really kind of learning like the Chinese techniques and the German techniques and the French techniques, and you're growing up doing it. And this is what happens in gaming. The watching aspect of it, are you kidding me? Like right now with streaming and everything like that, you can like, it's just like if anybody's watching you right now, as exciting as it is. But it's
Marte, I get where you're coming from. I think both can happen, right? But I think that's not mutually exclusive. I'm just saying I think we need a healthy mix of both.
So let me ask you this, Tucci, you all right, boxing, for example, they have boxing games where you can box, and then they have real boxing. There is no comparison to boxing in a ring and sparring with somebody in a ring and boxing in a game.
Right. I'm not saying it right now. I'm not saying right now you can compare it's an actual sport against a video game. There are certain aspects and things that would be the same, but they haven't. But I feel like they can in like the next 10 years. You're gonna be able to put a reality goggles on, and if you want to get your ass kicked, and actually feel it. You can,
bro. I mean, you're right.
You have no. I think so. You need to watch this movie because it's definitely a dream.
Yeah.
But like the idea of putting on a suit and glasses and everything, and like your environment, dude. Like it's that whole philosophy dilemma or whatever, where like we could be leaving right now. This could not be reality. We could be hooked up to a computer,
sure,
and we wouldn't even know it.
For sure. Now, Elias played soccer, and he's played soccer video games. I'm assuming, ¿cierto?
You can't compare it right now.
Okay. So my point is right now, though. I'm not talking about down the future. I agree with you, but you're saying like gaming. Like, why is it such a? And it's not a waste of time. Like, look, if you're gonna game for an hour, 2 hours, like, okay, great. I'm talking about there's people who take it to another level, just like anything else, just like anything else. Somebody who drinks 2 beers a couple of days, or somebody who's an alcoholic like Martin. I mean, it's a big difference.
I think it's like let's talk on different generations. Okay, so our parents when they were little, they used to play with marbles. I don't know if you guys ever play with
marbles.
Marbles.
Marble.
Yeah. And okay, right now, like when I was young, I was like, okay, I'm not gonna play with marbles. Like there was this new thing that came out, like you play like video games. It was like black and white, and we're like, okay, that was the good thing to do. It's like you do like the snake, and you follow the snake, and you're like, oh, this is such a cool game, or like a little plane that you kill things. So even though the game wasn't that cool or it didn't have that many colors, playing with marbles, it was something like my dad probably was like, why you don't go play with marbles, you know? Like, now this video game is way cooler than going and play with marbles, you know? So the same thing, like these generations are going to change. Like right now we're like, hey, come on, playing soccer is way better than being just on the computer and just playing soccer on the computer. You know, so your kids are growing up right now with an iPad on their hands, and they're already watching color. So I don't know. I think like the Olympics might change the game. Like right now, fighting. I don't know if you guys saw. Like right now, we love seeing the UFC, or we love seeing that. But the other thing I like to watch is like robot fighting, like the robots. I don't know if you guys saw robot fighting. Like they build your own robot. You build.
Oh yeah, and you break them down.
And you break them down. It's like 2 people on their control remote, like kicking the crap out of these computers. You know, like they come up with different. Oh my god, this one has a saw. This one throws fire. This one makes them flip, and that was kind of cool to think, and that's kind of new. So you're like, okay, we might stop watching boxing. That might, because people will stop eventually if we go this way, like the gaming way. You know, like. All the kids are throwing their head this way. So boxing is not going to be as interesting as this video game. So even though those things are good and healthy, people might just throw their head into these new things that are coming up. Like, okay, I saw FIFA, and this is like a group of people. It's like 12 players. Every player is someone on the field. And they compete against like Argentina, or they compete against Germany, and every country has their own games, like 12 people playing. You know, I'm the Argentina team in Xbox, you know, or the computer gaming, and they actually do World Cups and do finals, and we might think it's like, for me it's not interesting, but for the new generation that might be the coolest shit to watch, you know, just watching. Oh my god, look how good they play, you know.
Yeah, so
even though it's not something like, oh, I can feel it playing, but it's what your body starting to like, oh my god, I like the feeling of being behind the control and be able to control this little thing however I want it to control, and I feel like I cannot be Messi, but on this game I can be Messi, you know. I can play like I can control him, you know, so it's kind of like a different feeling.
And there will be a Messi of that game, which is what I think is going to eventually happen. I can only imagine when these games originally came out, right? Because they say that every game came originally from a war game, right? Like soccer and all that evolved from some sort of like people are kicking their heads of the enemies and stuff like that. And just this activities came out from real things, and the ancient guys saying there's nothing like actually getting into a fight and fighting people. And here's like the younger generations, but we like the simulation of that fight. We like that simulation of that fight, and it's something we could do all the time. And I can imagine that being looked down like, well, there's nothing like smelling the blood and the poop of the enemy. And you're like, and I feel like that's what's happening with video games. But I don't know. We'll see. I mean, there's definitely like an abuse aspect of it. But and right now, hey, if there was ever a time in which I was doing the right thing by staying home all day and playing video games, it's now.
Yeah. Hey, imagine if the only thing is like we just gotta be good managing our time. Imagine, Martin, if instead of playing video games, you work out. You do your workout. How you would looking like You will be looking like a beast right now. You'll be looking like a beast right now.
I've been working out every day. Thank you very much.
As much as you play video games?
No.
Imagine
I play video games, but like this is what stimulates my mind. Is what's got me obsessed right now. And as I'm getting older, I worry more about Alzheimer's disease and shit. I'm just fucking. I don't know. I don't know. I do enjoy video games a lot. It's weird because for me it was weird because I grew up playing video games. I had a Nintendo and I had a Super Nintendo and a 64, and all throughout my childhood I played video games. I moved to the United States when I was like 15 to 16 years old, and I moved into my uncle's house, right, where my cousins were completely obsessed with video games. There was a particular video game called the World of Warcraft that is there's a social aspect of it. There's a growing aspect of it, so it makes you feel like you're developing your character. You can find rare things in the game that are unique, right? So there's a lot of things in that game that play on your psychology and like your addictive personality. Like I have something that nobody else has, and I'm developing a clan. So they had a horrible relationship with video games to the point that it turned me off from it. Like when I saw them play that video game that way, and how bad it was, my uncle used to be mad. My uncle used to like yell at them and beat them and shit. Like, what the fuck are you guys doing, please? And like they would stay up to like 4, 3 in the morning playing video games when they weren't supposed to. And it just seems like nothing that you could do would stop him from doing it. Like,
maybe taking away the system and throwing it in the trash.
It was a computer. It was the computer at the house. That you used to play the bills and shit. And you couldn't get this guy. And I guess, there was other things, but it was like a really bad relationship to the point that I was like, fuck that, I'm not. Like, I just stopped playing video games, dude. Like, I didn't really care. And then it wasn't until, like, I think 5 years ago, my wife got me an Xbox for Christmas. And at the time, I was, like, on this crazy trip that I was going to read a book a day. I was listening to this guy, like, you seen the guy that comes out after YouTube that has got a Lamborghini and has got a bunch of books in the back? What's his name? Like, the George Lopez guy?
Yeah.
Guy? He's like, hey, with the big ass nose, he's like, hey, what are you doing?
He's from Clayton, right?
No way.
He's from Clayton, North Carolina.
Get the fuck out of here. I live with the Amish, and I read all his books, and I got a Lamborghini. Yeah. I can tell you the secrets. So my buddy talked me into paying $65 to get his like trainings and shit. I was listening to that every day, and I was like brainwashed. I was like, I remember like my wife had bought me the Xbox for Christmas. I thought it was an Xbox. I wasn't sure, so I measured the box, and I weighted the box, and I weighted myself without the box to know the weight. And there's an Xbox. And I remember like, dude, this is gonna be bad. And then I got this game called The Witcher 3, which is like a good game, bro. And I played it for a year, but I wasn't really into it like that. But it wasn't until I started playing online gaming with the social aspect kicked in and the competitiveness with real people that it became like, okay, I'm playing. This is something I want to play every day. And I don't think I'm doing anything wrong with it. I play video games every day at night. Like, I have a routine. Like, I work out. I've been working out in the morning. As soon as I wake up, I work out because I don't have to drive 45 minutes. I've been doing it for the last 2 weeks. And I was doing it at lunch when I was working. I work out first thing in the morning. I do Chanti T20. It's a lot of cardio, a lot of my ass, a lot of ass workouts. And then I work all day on the computer, so it's the same shit I used to do at the office, the exact same thing, calling people and working on the computer. And then around 7:30, I put my daughter to sleep, and then I play video games till midnight every single day. That's just my routine. What's wrong with that? You were saying that I need to work. I need to wake up, work all day, and then at 7:30 at night I need to work out till midnight. Is that what you're saying?
Read a book, man. Read a book.
I'm developing my brain.
I'm developing my brain.
I mean, my cut lies. I don't know. I mean, I feel like I am. I feel like there's like positive aspects of it. I mean, you can't just think that every single waking moment of your life you have to be doing something productive. I mean, you do want to think a bit like that, but like every little thing, like you drive yourself crazy. Elias, you were telling me today, like you don't feel like you have any because you're not making money. You don't feel like you're doing anything towards your life. Like that's not healthy either. Why can't you just fucking relax?
I was working, man. I was in the bathroom, man. I didn't hear the whole thing. But you said what?
Oh, never mind.
Oh man,
I didn't work out today. I have the gym at the house. I didn't work out today. But I like to be productive.
He's trying to justify why he's able to play video games from 7:30 to midnight every night.
All I'm saying is you need to
look how fun life is, man. Look how
life
fun.
Cannot be all about work and productive.
Nobody said it has to be all about work. I mean, nobody said
it. Why can't you play from 7:30 to 12?
No, look how fun it is to do a podcast, man. Like, look how fun it is. Like, how much fun we have over here. It's not a video game. We're getting together over here, talking to each other. I think that's kind of cool. Instead of doing something else,
playing video games.
I'm just saying.
I think there's a negative, like a negative feeling behind the video games, and it's understandable, but it's changing because there is actually something you can contribute to the society with that, which you can be a gamer, you can make a living out of it now.
How do you contribute to society?
Well, I mean, how do you contribute to society?
No, you just said you can contribute to society being a gamer. So I'm asking.
As an entertainer. I mean, there are people that watch that. Like, people, how do you contribute to society being a basketball player?
I guess you could be an entertainer. I mean, well,
what does a basketball player contribute?
I didn't say they did. You're saying there's aspects where you can contribute to society as a gamer. So I'm saying, what aspects are those? You said being an entertainer.
That is it.
Okay. I mean,
people do. They do.
I don't think it has a bad. I'm not saying it has a bad, connotation, but I think it's like if I play poker, I play poker, right? But if I play poker and I tell my wife, "Hey, babe, I want to play poker every Wednesday night," okay, that's cool. Now, if I tell her, "Babe, I'm gonna play poker every night from 7:30 to midnight," she might have an issue. Yeah, she might say,
"Well." She cares because there's money involved.
No, I'm playing for fun. I'm playing for fun.
I mean,
why don't come over here and take care of the kids from 7 to 12, man?
I have friends that their spouses have a real problem with them playing video games, where they cannot play video games anymore.
Oh,
they don't find and they're like, "Yo, you can't like they really want to, like that's something they want to do, and they're grown men and they want to play video games, but they can't. It's just not something that their wives want them to do."
And I wonder how much time. I'm sure if it says, "Hey, babe, do you mind if I play for an hour?" It ain't gonna be a big deal. But I don't know. I
have this particular person I'm thinking of. Like, it's just not an option anymore. Like, it's too much of a sore topic, and I don't know why or how that happened. I mean,
let's get him on the podcast and find out.
Yeah, we could try to get him on the podcast. What did I say? But yeah, dude.
Man, I think we were talking about.
Hold on, Elias, real quick. Let me get this point across. I don't think if it's this guy that worked or whatever he does for work and came home, made dinner, took care of his kids or whatever his responsibilities are, I don't think his wife would have a problem with it. Now, if he came home and he expected his wife to have dinner ready, he would expect his wife to clean up after him, to do his laundry, to clean up the kitchen, and then he goes and plays video games for a couple hours every night, then I can see how his wife would be like, "Nah, this ain't happening." But again, I have no idea.
I don't know, but I don't think that's the case. And some people may have a bad experience in the past with it, and they just don't like it. I don't know. I really don't know.
Yeah.
It just sucks that that's the way it is.
What were you gonna say? Yes. Sorry.
No, I'm totally low. Yeah. So you can keep going.
Elias has been eating, playing his phone, and taking breaks to the bathroom.
Oh, okay, I remember. I don't know. I think I'm going back to the point where we're talking about these different generations. I think it was my brother. He was like, the new generation gotta build to be sure or secure about themselves. Like, oh, how about if you want to ask a girl out and things like that. Right now, lately, man, it's a big thing going on where the girl actually asks the guy out instead of the guy asking the girl out. You know.
Mm-hmm.
So that kind of everything kind of gets mixed. You know? Everything kind of is like changes so much just because it's a new generation. We're like old school, I guess. Right now we're kind of old school. It feels kind of old school.
Listen to the music you listen to, and listen to the music that's up right now that the people are listening to in high school.
Billie Eilish, man.
Huh?
Billie Eilish.
You don't know what that is.
No, I don't.
You got him now. It's a new singer.
Okay, enlighten me.
It's a lady. Yeah. So I'm feeling it now. Like the new singers, they sound like trash music. I feel like an old man. Like
right. Like what is that trash? Like what is that? That's garbage. That makes no sense.
Over again.
So, yeah, we're about to be old school real quick if we're not already.
So the guy that's about an hour and 15 at this point. Let's do some closing statements.
Absolutely, man.
This is crazy times. I'll start. I'm glad we're doing this. This is a great way to document. I can't wait to hear this kind of shit in a few years. We need to figure out the technical difficulties. We can't spend an hour every time, but we'll get there. And you know what? I think we'll be all right. I think something good will come out of this. I've already heard that they have a map of China in which they show how much pollution has stopped because people being at home and working from home. And there's going to be hopefully some lessons to be learned here. Hopefully we all survive. Everybody in this podcast will be alive when we're listening to this in the future. And yeah, I think that it's an experience, something we're going to be talking about for the rest of our lives for sure.
I think this is definitely going in the history books. It's definitely in the history books as we're speaking, and we're living it right now. Anybody who has any follows stock market. I mean, Tucci, we're down from like almost 30,000 to what, 18 and change now?
Yeah, I went up a little today, but I mean, it's just crazy, man.
In the matter of a few days, and yeah, everybody's quarantined right now. People are the government's asking people to stay home. Only the banks are open and essentials, banks, grocery stores, apparently Lowe's, Home Depot. But I definitely think that it's a crazy time. I'm hoping something good is going to come out of this, and I'm glad that we're all able to connect. At least I'm glad that we have the technology to stay connected, because I can't imagine 10 years or 20 years ago how many people would be able to work from home. Not too many. How many people would be able to get together and see each other and even record something like this? I mean, 20 years ago, we didn't have internet at home. Damn. So now it's like, yeah, it's a no-brainer. We talk shit about Elias, whatever, internet. But, I mean, everybody has internet now.
Well, you got to talk shit about Elias' internet.
That's Martin all day. I respect your internet, bro.
The internet's doing the best it can, and you know what? We're here.
Doing its thing.
Hey, guys. Everything's going good here.
Dial up. LOL.
As a side note, we spend an hour.
Skynet is getting control.
1 hour getting Elias hooked up.
Hey, that wasn't just me, man. That wasn't just me. Man, one of the things, like, sometimes, like, you're like, man, I wish I could live, like, in time, like, in history, when things were actually happen. And one of the things that I can be say, oh, I was there. First black president of the United States of America, I was there. Mm-hmm. Towers going down, I was there. Coronavirus was going down, I was there. And guess what? I survived. I know I'm going to survive. I know you guys listening are going to survive. And I'm a believer. I believe that everything, like, in my life, if something happens and something wants to bring me down, I'm not going to come back, and I'm going to come back way stronger. So stay positive. Your mind is something that you have to work on. It's not just your body, not just doing some walking. Keep your mind positive, and that's just going to keep you healthy through these hard times, I believe. So keep
absolutely
positive. Stay positive.
So I mean, that's definitely a good message there. And like, it's very encouraging seeing what's going on. It's a very scary times, very uncertain times, not just for our health, but for our wallets as well. Mm-hmm. But seeing like people being able to connect, like you guys said, not just with social circles, but also at work, and just being able to utilize everyday life at home to be able to do the things that they normally do. I mean, I think that's great. But one thing I will say is y'all need to stay away from that yellow dust, man. Okay, whenever you go outside, I'm telling you, it's not healthy.
It's the Rona. It's dehydrated Corona.
Right. Well, y'all stay healthy and see y'all soon.
All right, buddy.
All right, guys.
That's it.
You guys. TTYO. Bye.